I'm here representing Access Alaska. Doug, who asked me to help out with this, he's in Fairbanks right now, so he couldn't be here. But when I reached out to him while we were touching base with all the nonprofits, he actually ended up with something that's, mapping. And so I think, if anything, everybody here is going to get some GIS experience with the Wazoo. So I really like that. I'm a huge GIS nut, so I'm super happy to see all this stuff come up. So Access Alaska, these guys basically, like their title says, they open doors to independence. Anybody with disability or age restrictions entering into an accessible area or a not accessible area shouldn't really be limited at all. So limiting their freedom about, they're there to protect people that have any sort of access restriction. And that's great, so that's why I'm totally on board with this. They have a lot of this information on their website, I'm sorry. So they are funded in part by federal grants, which kind of gives them a unique opportunity as far as accessibility. They're one of the few social enterprises that can lobby and advocate on accessibility barrier removal. So basically going and saying, hey, this is something we need to pass, we need to not pass, we need to start promoting more of. They're on it, so they can actually go to DC and have a lot of fun with this. Part of that process is they actually need good data. So what they're proposing is kind of a social platform where people with any sort of accessibility restriction can give feedback, actually give a lot of good data so that when they are going up against DC, they can actually provide a lot of information as well as provide an incredible product to people to actually use and actually interact with. So this is more socially integrated data. So what did you say?
User-generated content?
There we go. He's on it. So what they're looking for right now is kind of a mapping interface with a simple, accessible interface with has a rating system for the facility that they're actually reviewing. The social integration that they're really looking for is there's actually some fun app APIs for Foursquare. If anyone's familiar with actually doing anything with Foursquare, this would be a fun opportunity to really show your stuff. And as far they want to push stuff out as well, so of course any reviews that people do, anything that's outstanding that the staff thinks that deserves a good notice, they'd like to push that as far as Access Alaska's Facebook account out to the world, as well as give individuals the option of pushing it out themselves to their own Facebook pages and Twitter accounts and everything else. So the goal here is, just like with any good web development or application development, is the user interface has to meet your market. So the goal here is Americans with Disabilities Act compliance. It needs to be an easy to use interface, of course, just like with every project out there. High contrast mapping options, which is something I totally stumbled into today and I'm really excited to actually use. And then a mobile first web design. And what that really means to the general public is something that starts off looking really amazing on your iPhone or your Android, and then ends up looking even more exciting on your desktop, and it very much flows into that without the developer having to spend a lot of time on it. Now the reason I'm recommending that is because it also encompasses some very good guidelines for ADA compliance. By actually having all that information readily available, anybody with text mode browsers like W3M or Lynx can immediately get access to that information. And most of the time, people that are using W3M or Lynx hardcore are either developers that are super lazy or people with accessibility restrictions. So what we're really trying to promote is open data. This is a very huge thing, because this allows them, instead of having to do all the work themselves as far as getting public interest, have people that are interested in doing GIS visualization or data crunching, anything else like that, actually pull a lot of this information easily so that they can do that. So open data is a very powerful movement, and I fully support that as well. So what can we do in a weekend? Maybe get a mobile or desktop HTML design done with an intelligent search bar and a map and list interface, so you can actually see what's going on near you or near a location that you're interested in, as well as look up specific facilities, buildings, parks, whatever. And then some of the initial back-end development, so like a code repository on GitHub established, A very basic framework that does user registration, profile information management, stuff like that. Actually doing it, putting in some facilities or some WeMarks, and then doing some geographic queries just overall. So just that would be a huge bonus for getting this going. And then, of course, anybody who's willing to stay on and actually develop it further could end up making a really great product for Access Alaska. So that's all I had. Uh-oh.
I just need mention about digital signatures. Do you think that would be helpful if the individual contributor actually sign it somehow?
Sure, yeah, if they're up for it. Yeah, that would be fun. And then, of course, that's a cool technology, so. Any others? Oh, I do.
So I just want to check, Yelp has a field, wheelchair accessibility, yes, no. What beyond that? How many?
Thank you, because I totally glossed over that. We're looking at actual getting into a bathroom. This is one of, this building is very accessible. From the front door all the way to the bathroom is nothing. If I was in a wheelchair, it would be nothing. If I was on crutches, it would be nothing. If I had any other sort of assistance that I needed, it would be very minimized. So that's the kind of rating that a lot of people that are interested in accessibility are trying to share. There's a lot of hotels around here that, oh man, you get into the hotel, you find out that there's like 3 steps going down just to get into the bathroom, or you just want to go, check in, stuff like that, and you end up having to ask people for help. You end up in a sticky situation, and all of this because you didn't use Yelp to understand the wheelchair side of things. But there are more aspects to that, much more than wheelchairs. One of the big concerns is, of course, age as well. Wheelchair accessible is a good indicator whether someone who is much older can actually get up and down the stairs or can find their way around. But like I said, it does end up going a lot more beyond just wheelchairs. Anything else? Oh.
Just a little comment. There's a website called BluePath.
Mm-hmm.
It's a business directory of accessible businesses. Looks like there's only 2 listed for Alaska. I think it's a paid listing service, but they might have some good benchmark information. Yes.
When I was talking with Access Alaska, it did come up that we could consume other services like Yelp, or at least contribute back to them, as well as anything else that pops up because of the meeting. Yes, definitely. If you can even start doing a different kind of rating system, which is something he's very interested in, and I can encapsulate more over the next week. It would be cooler. So.
Okay, one cool thing this does, it says they have pictures and descriptions of the accessible features.
Oh.
Number of businesses, so customers know the level of access before they show
Yep.
up. So they can kind of scope it out.
So who are the 2?
They're both in Delta. It's Rika's Roadhouse and Rika's Packhouse Restaurant.
Okay.
Delta, you're set.
Andrew, do you have a question?
No.
All right, well, that's it. Hopefully this is actually fun for somebody interested in accessibility. One of the biggest challenges to anybody is actually going to do ADA compliance. How many people have actually developed websites and actually needed to care about that at all? And this is mostly government. So it's a big challenge, making sure that you actually have all the text actually present on the page and people can actually view it using tons of different terminal types that many of you have never even heard of. So, all right, well, thank you guys very much.